哦，你过来！哎呦我操！哎呦我操！哦，你过来！哎呦我操！你好，朋友。
Shanghai has been hit by another round of heavy rainfall, with Typhoon Dolphin contributing to the severe weather across the region. From August 9th to 11th, persistent downpours caused widespread waterlogging across parts of the city, flooding roads and low-lying areas and placing significant pressure on Shanghai's drainage and flood control systems. The heaviest rainfall was recorded in several parts of Shanghai, with some locations receiving exceptionally large amounts of rain within a short period. Continuous downpours caused water to accumulate on roads, particularly in low-lying areas, while some residential communities and urban streets were also affected by rising water levels. As rainfall intensified, several roads became partially flooded, forcing vehicles to slow down or find alternative routes. In some locations, cars struggled to pass through accumulated water, while pedestrians were also forced to navigate flooded streets.
车多噎了。
Traffic conditions became increasingly difficult as heavy rain affected major routes throughout the city. Emergency and drainage teams were deployed across affected areas to deal with the flooding. Pumping equipment and drainage vehicles were sent to locations where accumulated rainwater was affecting roads and residential communities.
我靠！我靠！我操！我操！浮起来了都！我去！飘起来！不是飘。
Workers also inspected drainage facilities and stormwater outlets in an effort to remove standing water as quickly as possible. The persistent rainfall placed considerable pressure on Shanghai's urban drainage network. Large volumes of rain falling within a short period can overwhelm drainage capacity, particularly in low-lying and heavily built-up areas. Authorities continued monitoring locations considered vulnerable to flooding and water accumulation while maintaining emergency response measures. In some parts of the city, floodwater covered sections of roads and created difficult conditions for motorists. Vehicles were forced to move slowly through waterlogged streets, while some drivers stopped altogether when water levels became too high.
出去！要么一直开，要么这里更深，这里更深。不会。真的，我站这，我公司后面更深呀！漏水了！
你看错啊！哦呦，哎呦，我的妈呀！好，下场了。
Emergency personnel were also deployed to assist with traffic management and respond to vehicles affected by the flooding. The heavy rain also disrupted transportation. Poor visibility and waterlogged roads created difficult conditions for commuters, while aviation operations were affected at Shanghai's major airport. Hundreds of flights were cancelled during the peak period of the severe weather, adding further disruption to travel across the region. The impact extended beyond central Shanghai. Several suburban districts also experienced intense rainfall, with local authorities strengthening emergency measures in response to flooding and water accumulation. Residents in affected communities were advised to avoid flooded roads and remain alert to further weather warnings. Meanwhile, neighboring Jiangsu province was also affected by the same period of severe rainfall. Suzhou and surrounding areas experienced heavy downpours, with several locations recording significant precipitation. Parts of Suzhou saw water accumulate on roads and in low-lying areas, while emergency personnel were mobilized to respond to flooding-related incidents.
嘿嘿，玩水喽！
In some areas of Suzhou, rescue teams assisted residents affected by rising water. Authorities also strengthened patrols along roads, waterways and other vulnerable locations as rainfall continued. Prolonged precipitation increased pressure on local drainage systems and raised concerns about additional flooding.
水淹到这里了，它还敢开？
Zhejiang was also hit by widespread heavy rainfall. Several cities and counties experienced intense downpours, with flooding reported in some low-lying areas. Roads and residential communities were affected by accumulated rainwater, while local authorities continued monitoring rivers, drainage systems and other flood-prone locations.
里面还有车，看看。我操！旱地行舟了，我去，旱地行舟。
Across the affected areas, emergency workers have remained on duty to clear floodwater, inspect infrastructure and respond to reports of flooding. Authorities have also continued monitoring rivers, reservoirs, roads and underground facilities as further rainfall remains possible.
人家在这挡都挡不住，水都流下面去了，不得了。停地楼的车子不得了了。
白豚的台风。
Residents have been urged to follow the latest weather warnings, avoid roads covered by deep water, and take precautions when traveling during periods of heavy rain.
再下的话，估计都要到他腰那里了。身高高的人都已经到屁股这个位置。